Hello and welcome to our session of Entrepreneurial Education. Today we're going to focus on agility and adaptability. Let me talk to you a little bit about the topics we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about change as a constant, why getting into the game is so important. It's a key to adaptability.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about pivoting and what Mark calls falling forward. We're going to talk about
Failing forward.
Okay, failing forward, yes, sorry.
That's okay.
We're going to talk about building relationships as a way to support change and agility. And finally, retiring retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome, Mark.
Thanks.
I know you often say that in today's world, you're going to have as many as 7 different careers, many more times out of jobs in our lives. It's different now, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So maybe you could talk, I know you've interviewed a lot of people who say that they hate change.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about what that was.
Coming from the staffing business and the human resources arena, I got the opportunity to spend a good amount of time with thousands of people, interviewing them, hiring, placing them, working with companies like Google and Sony Computer Entertainment and Bank of America, and the list goes on. And when I would hear those words, Paul, I hate change, I immediately would get fearful for them, because frankly, the one thing you can count on in this life is change, impermanence. In fact, if you think about change, it's the great opportunity. Change, if it wasn't for change, new opportunities wouldn't exist, everything would be static. So my feeling is, embrace change, make it your friend, hug it, for lack of a better word, and because you know it's going to happen. And navigate your life based upon opportunity, not fear.
And a lot of people you talk to weren't doing that.
No, in fact, when somebody said to me, you know, I'd hate change, it would make me think that they weren't ready to navigate into new worlds. They weren't ready to adapt. They weren't ready to change. They weren't ready to make that first great or next great step forward, either in their careers or in their lives. Look, life is a machine. It's constantly turning. And if you're not ready for the next turn, shame on you. The engine could blow.
At least in the beginning of somebody's career, you just got to get in the game. Get in the game. Tell me what that means.
A couple of buckets of people that I saw when I was in the human resource space. One was a lot of young people that just weren't ready. They weren't ready to get in the game. In fact, they were looking to self-actualize maybe at the age of 22 or 23. Well, the reality is we know that's not going to happen. And they would sit around and wait for the perfect role or the perfect job.
Preparing.
Or they wouldn't even be prepared for it. They wouldn't be starting to think about alignment until their senior year in university and college. And my feeling is that alignment is a lifelong process. Again, expect the change, but get in the game. The best way to learn something, and I think Dean Silver alluded to this in his interview earlier, you want to be able to learn how to swing a golf club. If you want to learn how to swing a golf club, pick the golf club up, right? You can't just read it on a video. You can't just, watch it on a video or read it in a book. Then there was a whole other group of people that really scared me, and those were people that weren't changing themselves. They weren't adapting themselves. They weren't continuing to find ongoing relevance of skill, building their personal asset, changing. And when they'd say they hate change, I'd say, this person's stuck. They're stuck in their career, or they're stuck in a job, or they're going to lose a job and they're not going to be ready. So to me, this whole concept of change, of staying in the game, doing repetitive work in the game, not just viewing it from outside, is absolutely critical.
And then once you're kind of in the game, there's this concept of maybe you don't have to make huge changes, but you got to pivot a little bit.
Well, you got to adapt. And I think, you know, if you're driving down the highway and all of a sudden you see traffic coming at you, well, you change lanes or you get the heck out of the way. Or if you're driving down the highway and you want to get there a little more quickly, you navigate, you change lanes, you maybe take an exit. The thought process it is in pivoting, and this is really an entrepreneurial word, is you have a vision, you have an objective, you have a goal. As you're trying to pursue that goal, as you are trying to attain that goal, then you may see the market shift. You may see circumstances change. You may see new opportunities that exist right before your very eyes. If that's the case, adapt, modify, change direction, pivot, so to speak, and go in that slightly new direction. So that's what pivoting is all about.
What if you pivot and you fail? You start by failing forward.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I think you fail forward. If you look back at a lifetime, the greatest lessons that we ever learn are when we have failed. I mean, when I look back on my life personally, it's not the wins or the successes or the great deals that I closed or that we closed as a team back in business. It's when I didn't get the deal, when I took a loss, when I missed a free throw in a game. Because then what happens is you take a clinical approach towards your life and you say, how can I do better next time? What was it that I missed or I should have done? What can I do to plan and prepare so that the next time I have a greater chance at victory, a greater chance at success, a greater chance at that promotion, a greater chance of designing the next educational tool so that my class is better prepared next time and gets better results in their overall grade point averages, whatever it might be. So to me, the failing is all part of the game, and actually an exciting part of the game if you look at it right. If you're afraid of failure and you're afraid of change, I think you're in a tough spot.
That's something I think that teachers in their classroom can really make some positive changes in how they reinforce kids for taking chances, how when a mistake is made, they don't shame kids, but they almost, like you're saying, you almost celebrate it, like, great. Now, what did you learn from that?
What did you learn from that? What are you going to do next? Because the greatest thing about failing, if you're going to move forward, is the next opportunity to make another decision. I mean, life is about a series of decisions, right? And you're going to take actions or not take actions. If you don't take actions, you're not taking risks. If you're not taking risks, you're not learning new things. If you're not taking risks, you're typically probably not going to fail. If you don't fail, it's hard to move forward. I mean, I stated it earlier. I think failure is a recipe for success.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for lifelong learning.
Yeah. Show me a person that's never failed. They've probably never been highly successful because they haven't taken risks.
No, in fact, there's organizations out there that actually do celebrate failure. And in those companies, they give basically get out of jail free cards. You're allowed to make a bad decision, but you're making decisions, you're taking action, you're moving forward over X period of time, and you get one get out of jail free card a year or something like that.
I've heard, like in Silicon Valley, they even have failure conferences where people come and share their failures. People put together failure resumes, what they failed at and what they learned from it.
Well, and you know, it's fascinating, you know, and we're in a society where even in my own family, raising my own kid, you know, you do a little helicoptering. And when you think about it, that can serve a pretty bad purpose. Meaning, if you don't allow your kid to scrape up his knees a little bit in life, if you don't allow him to experience some levels of self-introspection through failure, through loss, but we, in many of our societies, do everything to protect kids from losing, you know, from not winning. It's the journey. It's the self-exploration that allows you to be overly successful for the rest of your life and career that's critical.